What's up for this week? A soap I've long wanted to try, the Godrej Shaving Round from India. Hello again, Michael Friedberg here from beautiful North Carolina once again, and I have two products for review today. The first is going to be a shaving soap from India that was kindly sent to me by another YouTube viewer. Jacob, thank you so much again for this. Really appreciate this. I've had my eye on this for quite a while. It's one of those things I would see come up every now and then. I was kind of really intrigued to see just how well this would work. I'm going to talk about this in just a moment. The other item up for review is a second of the two brushes that were sent to me from Frank Shaving. This arrived with the Badger brush that I've since given away as one of the full kits. This is a synthetic faux Badger brush, which I'll talk about once we actually get lathering up. The razor for today is going to be the iKon X3 slant, which I will assemble in just a moment. But first, let's talk about the Godrej, and then I'll get the razor going. So the Godrej is a very inexpensive shaving soap made in India. It's been made for quite a long time. It's been in production since I think 1938. It comes in this small plastic container which has a, hope you can see that at the bottom, a small drain hole. So if you are lathering inside the container, you could leave the soap in there and it would still, most of the water would drain out. I think it would still be kind of wet on the bottom, so that's something, if you're doing that, you may want to on occasion stand it up on its side inside the container, just on edge, and really allow it to air dry. I have the soap here pressed into the Captain's Choice hard soap holding bowl. There was a logo on here, but that has since faded. I've only lathered this 5 times, but it's a very light imprint. Beautiful blue color. Very lightly scented, which I think might be lavender, but a very light scent. Smells kind of clean and soapy. No real distinct, strong, certainly no strong scent, but if there is a scent, I think it might be kind of a light floral or lavender scent. I'm going to talk about the way the soap behaves in just a moment. Let's get the razor assembled first, which is the iKon X3, which I had not forgotten about, but I just haven't used in quite a while. In my recent B1 experience, I thought, let's drag this back out again. This is a Gillette Wilkinson sword blade. This will be the third shave and the last shave on this blade because these just don't work that well for me. Pretty good in this razor though. Here is the base plate, which has, I hope you can see that, or that it kind of stands out. The combs are two different sizes. It's just really an aesthetic choice. It makes no difference in the quality of the shave. It has a nice little ring at the bottom there of the base plate, which is the perfect place to put a washer, as I'm doing. And I'm using the handle that came with this razor, which is a iKon Bulldog handle. Great fit for this razor. Nice knurling, nice heavy weight, good fit. I really like this razor. It works very well for me. Just haven't used it in quite a while, so it's great to pull it back out again. All right, let me wet my face. Let's start talking about the soap. Now, the Godrej is often referred to as the Williams of India. And I will agree that in some respects, it is much like Williams. It is, as you can see, a small, round, hard puck of soap. It, like the Williams, has a very light scent. Like the Williams, it is a very inexpensive product. This particular one comes in a small round plastic holder. The Williams comes in a cardboard box. They've both been manufactured and in production for an extended period of time. As I said, this started coming out in 1938. So they have a long sort of history to them. Now, there is one significant difference, however, between the Williams and the Godrej. The Williams, as you know, requires some work. Now, there are many who love the Williams, and they will go on at great length about the things they do to be able to allow the Williams to lather like any other shaving soap should. I always make jokes like gently simmer it in olive oil for 30 minutes, or soak it in hot water for 30 minutes, or have a brush blessed by his pontiff in the Vatican to allow your magic boar brush to do its thing. You know, Williams takes work, and there are people out there who obviously get a good lather from it, but for most people, most of the time, it mostly doesn't work because it's kind of not a good soap. And if you have to work that hard to make it work, I say, pshaw, move on. So in this regard, and I'm just going to start lathering this up, I'm using a relatively dry brush. I'm going to start working this Frank Shaving Faux Badger Synthetic Brush. I'm just going to give it a little bit. Now, I want you to know what's already happening in here. I'm going to add a touch of water to this. I have managed to overload every day despite my cautionary attempts not to do so. I'm going to add just a touch of water onto the puck. And let's take a look at what's happening in here. Take a note, Williams mug soap users. You will notice that this soap is producing an immediate lather. No work, no soaking, no microwaving, no grating and mixing with Arco, no secret squirts of glycerin. It just works. It's a very simple soap. I think it only includes 6 ingredients. Not a tallow-based soap, obviously. We're going to keep working that because it's still a little too dry. Now this is why I would say it is unfair to the Godrej to compare it to Williams, because there is an immediate and massive difference between these two shaving soaps. The most significant being this soap actually produces a good lather with no extra work, no heartache, no having to explain to people about all the magic ways in which you have to work to wring out this amazing performance from the Williams shaving soap. No fiddle faddle, as they say. It just works. Now, the brush is a very springy, kind of stiff, slightly scrubby synthetic knot. So if you're looking for something that is supposed to feel like kind of maybe a finest badger, it does not splay very easily. And I find it a little scrubby, or a little too scrubby and just too springy. This is not the synthetic knot for me, but if you're looking for something that looks a lot like badger but that is synthetic and that has a bit of backbone to it and a bit of scrub, because maybe you've got a denser beard or you're lathering a hard soap and you want something that can really scrub into it, this might be a good option for you. Alright, iKon X3 with the Gillette Wilkinson Sword Blade, third use. Absolutely serviceable. This makes a fine lather, easy to use, good slickness. And no, this soap is not going to compete with soaps like the Holy Cow from last week. That's just not what it's intended to do at all. This is a low-cost, inexpensive soap, packaged very cheaply. Absolutely nothing fancy about it. But it works. And it just works right out of the container. Unlike some soaps I could mention, I'm glad I dragged this razor out because it's a razor that I've always enjoyed. A very comfortable, very effective slant for me. Love the handle too. You may hear in the background some kind of thumping and wrestling. I think our second cat, the one-eyed cat, is playing with the toy out there, so just keep an ear open. First pass already done. As you can see, no dissipation of the lather. Still has the same scent as did off the puck. or a lightly floral scent. Just clean and soapy is how I would put it. I'm going to add a touch of water to that. If you overload, you're going to need some water, because if you don't, this will produce quite a thick, pasty lather and definitely benefits from some water. All right, pass number 2. This is going to be across the grain. You can see water dripping down my arm. I have learned a Jedi mind trick to ignore the water dripping down my arm, but frankly, it does not always work. Hair out of that brush. Yeah, I have to say, really quite surprised at how well this soap worked, because, you know, I too had heard this sort of constant refrain, it's the Williams of India. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's just really not true. In my opinion, Williams could learn quite a bit from that puck. Now, I do have a vintage puck of Williams that I've not had a chance to use yet. And so I don't know if that'll come up soon, but that's going to be a really good comparison, actually. There we go. All right, that's pass number 2. Rinse and repeat. Residual slickness actually is pretty good, and rinsing is not hard, but also not easy. The soap is a little difficult to get off. Yeah, very nice lather. Easy to make, easy to use, feels good going on. Nice slickness. Let's take a look at that. That looks pretty good to me. Ugh, not a good tasting soap. All right, let's get pass number 3 over and done with. That's going to be, of course, against the grain, or mostly against the grain. Yeah, it's funny. These blades really do not go past 3 shaves for me. First 2 are very good. Can definitely feel it starting to fall apart in shave number 3. Yeah, one thing about the iKon slant is that it just seems to be able to move with kind of grace over your skin. I know that kind of sounds weird, but it's just very easy. It shaves with very little resistance. As far as slants go, this one works very well for me. And I thought for some reason that they had stopped making these, but I did check today and I can at least see them still for sale on the iKon website. Yeah, it's funny. There's a particular feel to that blade when it starts to go. It's not dull, but it starts to feel rough. we go. Yeah, good residual slickness on this soap. I'm going to do a very quick touch up under here, just because I feel like it. Still plenty of lather in that brush. There we go. Yeah, you can see I did not load that brush very long. I didn't load it with any difficulty or struggle, just loaded it up and went, and you can see just how well that's done. There we go. Done. All right, let's rinse and towel off. Yeah, you can feel, particularly under here, where there is still quite a bit of soap left, you can see not that easy to rinse off. All right, almost done. All right, towel off. Yeah, I would say for the X3, it's hard to say, I don't know, mild or aggressive. There's very little blade feel, very good edge control. You just don't feel like there's anything, you know, overly pronounced with that slant. Very easy to use. I don't know, I just really like it. And if you are interested in slant razors, then I think this is one of the ones that you should definitely try to pick up. And I'm just glad to see that they're actually still being manufactured. Okay, now, this soap in terms of post-shave is like a lot of these kind of very inexpensive commercial soaps. It is quite drying. That comes with the territory. It's a soap. That's what should happen. So I'm going to be using something which I pulled off the shelf, having gone through the stuff that I had to make up sort of the giveaway kits. And for some of the stuff, it's kind of been pushed to the back. And this has been sitting on the shelf for a while. So I'm going to go ahead and use this because it's a shame not to use it. It is the Aftershave Balm, alcohol-free, from Abbate Y La Mantia. This is saffron, marigold, and St. John's wort. It is a kind of a glycerin-y, slick gel which goes on and doesn't feel tacky. It just feels slippery. One pump is plenty. Rub it in. It absorbs quickly. It feels kind of slick on the skin. It does not dry down with like a tacky or sticky kind of a pasty feel to it. Lightly cooling and very soothing. So for a soap like this, where it's already quite drying, and you don't want to use an aftershave splash, which of course with alcohol base is going to be even more drying, just go right for the balm. This is very, very lightly scented. So if you wanted to, you're doing something like an eau de cologne or something like that after the fact, this is not going to get in the way of that at all. Yeah, very, very nice. I always rinse my hands after using this because it does leave behind kind of a somewhat slick feel to the skin on your hands. All right, we are done. Not bad for the Williams of India. All right, let's go through these products right quick because that shave has ended very nicely once again. Godrej Shaving Round from India, not the Williams of India, because this soap, unlike Williams, actually lathers right out of the box. Easy to lather, good, slick, dense lather. If you overload, you're going to create a paste. Add more water. This can actually take quite a bit of water. I found this soap very easy to use, very pleasant in use, no issues at all. If you're looking for something sort of understanding the spectrum of shaving soaps, even though this is a very inexpensive kind of high value product, and you may be inclined to dismiss it, there's a lot of people for whom this is their daily shave, and honestly, this produces a very satisfying shave right out of the bat. No hard work, no nothing, just lather it up and go. So kudos to Godrej, very nice shaving product. I'm very glad I got to try this. Thank you, Jacob, once again. iKon X3 slant works great for me. Gentle and easy in use, very comfortable, very easy to use. Shaves without a lot of resistance. You can kind of feel it kind of tearing through the hair. On the milder, more comfortable side, let's say. So on occasion, maybe I do an extra touch-up like I did today. That's just to really get a super smooth, and that is really close. Excellent razor. Very glad I pulled that out again. Thanks again to Frank Shaving for this unexpected. Let me see if I can get that logo clear. There it is, the Frank Shaving. This faux Badger synthetic brush that came with the other actual Badger brush. For me, this one is too springy and a little too stiff with a touch of scrub. But if that's what you're looking for in a synthetic brush, I know that a lot of people want something that feels like it's got a good dense, feel on the face. This would be a good option for you to look into. And then we closed it out with the Abbate Y La Mantia, the aftershave balm, alcohol-free, as always based on saffron, which has got some great skincare qualities, marigold and St. John's wort in here as well. Cooling, very soothing, skin feels very nice, not tight, just calming, and just feels good as a post-shave. So I'm going to leave it right there for today. Thank you again all so much for watching. I really appreciate the time you're taking to watch these videos. As always, please feel free to leave a question or comment against this video or any previous video. I hope to tear through the mountain of comments that are there from last week's and maybe a few others that have come in the meantime. Otherwise, thank you again so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.